In a few days from now, elections to the 17th Lok Sabha will get underway. It's time to take stock of what was promised and what was delivered. Every Friday, we bring you the Modi Years, a series which recaps the major policies, milestones and controversies of the BJP government. It's Friday, April 5th. Basic infrastructure for all Indians was a key promise of the Modi government as it came to power in 2014. Electricity for all households was part of this. The government claims it has largely fulfilled this promise. By the end of April 2018, it announced all villages in India had been electrified. 8 months later, it said all households in 25 states had been electrified. Village electrification is not a major achievement, given that a village is considered electrified once 10% of its houses and significant civic infrastructure such as schools and panchayat offices are connected to the power grid. The UPA government had already connected 109,524 villages to the grid between 2004 and 2014 through the Rajiv Gandhi Gramin Vidyutikaran Yojana. The Modi government just added 18,374 villages through the Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana. On its part, the government claims this was a significant achievement since the leftover villages were more inaccessible. Soon after the government announced all villages had been electrified, an India Today report found across states, several villages were yet to receive electricity. In response to the report, the Ministry of Power clarified it had brought electricity only to census villages. Some of the households and sub-village units, namely habitations, hamlets, dhanis, majras, tolas, may not be having electricity as of now, it said. From village to household electrification. Where the Modi government has made significant strides is household electrification. In September 2017, it launched the Pradhan Mantri Sahaj Bijli Har Ghar Yojana scheme, better known as Saubhagya, aiming to connect all Indian households, not just villages, to the electricity grid by 2019. While households living below the poverty line get a free electricity connection under the scheme, including single-line wiring, LED lamps and meters, others are charged 500 rupees, which is collected in 10 installments by the company supplying electricity. The actual cost of one connection, however, is pegged at rupees 3,000. The electricity distribution companies executing the scheme are compensated by the government, which allocated 16,320 crore rupees for Saubhagya in 2017-18. This came down to 3,700 crore rupees in 2018-19. Some have argued this is inadequate and has resulted in poor quality of connections. By the end of December 2018, the government announced 2.48 crore households had been connected to the grid. With this, it claimed 99.8% of all previously unelectrified households had been covered, with 100% household electrification achieved in 25 states. However, as recently as April 2018, estimates submitted by states to the centre showed 6.4 crore households were still waiting for electricity connections. How did the numbers change so drastically? As Scroll reported, states steadily reduced targets without specifying the reasons for doing so. For instance, in Uttar Pradesh, the target fell by 81% from 1.98 crore households in April 2018 to 74.4 lakh households by December 2018. This means the 100% electrification claim was based on dramatically reduced targets. Confused? Sample this. On the face of it, Uttar Pradesh had pulled off a dramatic achievement. In April, the state had still to electrify 1.98 crore households. To meet the deadline of December 31st, it would have to electrify 60,000 households per day. In late August, state officials were certain they would not be able to meet the deadline as they were still 40% short of target. But by December 31st, the state had not only completed the target, it even received a 1,500 crore rupee bonus for it. So what exactly happened? A series of government documents reviewed by Scroll show the state may have simply shifted the goalposts. Since April, the state consistently reduced its target for electrification from 1.98 crore households to 74.4 lakh households. Saubhagya's website has a dashboard with dynamic all-state data that is updated daily. The table shows the total number of unelectrified households in each state as of October 10, 2017, the number of households electrified since that date, and the number of households still left to be electrified after October 10, 2017. Crucially, it is the target itself of unelectrified households as of October 2017 that kept reducing, and not the households left to be electrified. In its response to Scroll's report, the Ministry of Power did not contest the findings. It gave two reasons for the reduction of targets. Some households were found cohabiting with each other or had been provided connections under state schemes. However, it did not give any numbers for either category. The government's announcement of 100% electrification in December 2018 itself came with an admission. It said it would launch a special campaign to identify households left out of the scheme. A report in November 2018 by Pune-based energy think tank Prayas noted that the challenge did not end with giving all households electricity connections. Ensuring the quality of the connections was an uphill task. Fixing distribution companies. The Modi government's larger challenge in the electricity sector has been improving the financial health of distribution companies that supply power to consumers. Across India, state-run distribution companies have traditionally relied on loans with high rates of interest to finance their operations. In 2015, the government launched the Ujjwal Discom Assurance Yojana, better known as UDAY, which it said would help distribution companies manage their debt and efficiency. The scheme allows state governments to take on 75% of the debt of distribution companies in a staggered fashion and convert them into state government bonds, which in turn reduces the total interest burden on the companies. Distribution companies or discoms were in turn supposed to increase their operational efficiency, for instance by buying cheaper power or reducing transmission losses. Much of the scheme hinges on state cooperation as power is a concurrent subject. Under the scheme, states have to sign memorandums of understanding with the centre to receive assistance in achieving these targets. 11 states and union territories have not signed up for debt takeovers, though they have agreed to improve operational efficiency, according to a November 2018 study of UDAY by the National Institute of Public Finance and Policy. Of the remaining states, 86% of the required bonds have been issued so far. However, the same report finds that distribution companies have not performed as well on other efficiency parameters. For instance, UDAY requires distribution companies to reduce their aggregate technical and commercial losses to 15% by 2018-19. Only 7 states have achieved that. Between May and December 2018, the average aggregate losses of all states together actually increased from 21.17% to 25.41%. The gap between the cost of supply of power and the revenue received on each unit remains high, meaning that distribution companies still continue to bleed losses. Love your morning fix? Help support our journalism. Subscribe to Scroll Plus using the link in the description.